Welcome back, everyone. We're in Monaco this week for round 6 of Division 3. And there's lots of excited drivers out there for Monaco today. I can promise you there will be carnage. There will be a fair few DNFs, I'm sure. And we're just getting race reports from the drivers. It's going to be dry for both sessions, which is, in my opinion, good news, and I'm sure the drivers will be happy with that as well, to be honest. Who was that first car out on the track? It was Sheba. So TGL Stewart, not the first car out for the first time this season. And so this week Sheba will take us on a lap around Monaco. I'll talk you through the lap as I do every week. And then we'll try and catch up with everyone else in qualifying. I'll then give you a bit of a rundown whilst we wait for the grid to form. I'll give you a rundown of where we're at in the championship. And then we'll get into the race and see what unfolds. Sometimes the cars will go round on a second warm-up lap because the tyres, it's quite hard to warm your tyres up on one lap, but we'll see if Sheba decides to do that or if we get going with our first hot lap of the day. Let's jump on board with him. Did he just dive in the pits? He did. Okay, so was it Bassett then? Was he the next car? I think he was. So let's jump on board with him as he comes down the pit straight to start his lap. Finish line's there, the pit exit was there, you can see as you come into turn 1 up the hill. And we're about to come into a fast left-hander. Nice and tight there, flick it right down the hill. Be careful of the bump in the road, can unsettle your car. And you continue to go downhill. And you meet the hairpin, which is a 180 degree turn. As you now turn into the tunnel, nice long straight. And at the end of here, we've got a heavy braking zone and a nice little chicane to deal with. Cuts it nicely. And this is a really cool section of the track. It's fast, it's windy, and there are walls ready to collect you if you get anything wrong. And this is a tricky part of the track because this you can see your back end spin out. Bassett navigates that nicely, and again down here you can lose some traction because of the car unsettling. But that's Bassett, first lap, a 1:11.6. So good start for him. As you're just jumping on board with Alex. As he's gone through the chicane at the end of the tunnel. We've seen Marshmallow come over the line with an 11.6, Wardy with a 12.7 and Rika with a 17.8. Let's see what Alex can post on the board as he comes through sector 3 and he's about to round the final turn. Make his way down the pit straight. Here he comes now. It's a 1:11.6 and it is provisional pole. So well done to Alex so far. Who else have we got out on a lap? We've got a Red Bull out. Let's try and find who that is. That'll be Nicky Lauda. So he's just exiting the tunnel. He's got a car in front of him, but looks like he's charging his ERS, so he's going to want him to keep going. Maggot's now put in a 13.4. Felix has put in a 12.4, and Kazingle with 11.9. Here comes Nicky Lauda, round the final corner, down the pit straight. Can he put himself on pole? He can, 11.4. So slowly the times are improving. Who have we got out on track? We've got a Ferrari, but I think that's Maggot who's already put a time in. Stewart coming down to take the flag now. Puts himself in 5th with an 11.8. I think we've got a Williams back there. She was back out on track, so is this a warm-up? No, looks like he might be on a lap. Probably be using a lot of this car cam today because it's quite hard to get good camera angles around it. He makes his way down the hairpin. See the Mercedes following him. But keeps nice and wide there to give himself a good exit out into the tunnel. Uses the curbing, so he's maximising the track. On his way through the tunnel, down to the chicane. Almost have to stop the car, and you can cut that corner, but you sort of have to hook your wheel on it so the underneath of your car doesn't scrape along it and unbalance the car. But his ERS light is now on, so I wonder if he is now charging. Maybe he was doing 2 warm-up laps. Let's stick with him, see if he... Whoa, as he clips the wall. It's going to be his first time anyway. It's a 12.8. Let's see if he... Let me just check his ERS quickly. Yeah, he's got none left, so it's just because he was under 10%, that was all. Any of these guys out on a hot lap? Kazingle might be. See if we can see an orange light. We can. That means he is charging. Maggot's invalidating, coming in. Let's go back to... Oh, here we go. Athansu starting a lap, so he's coming around turn 1 now. Takes a nice chunk of that curbing. Still within track limits. As he now makes his way back down the hill. You can just see the car sort of squirreling around over that. There's a little hump at the top of that hill that can spit your car out if you're not careful. But looked like it might have caught Athansu a little bit there, but he caught it well. Didn't look like it cost him any time really. As he's making his way through the tunnel, not Rishi in front of him. Might be Wardy actually. He pulls over to the one side. Oh, as you can see, he's just clipped the wall, and it was looking like a good lap. I think I saw a purple first sector go in, and there's a bit of a glitch on the wall. There you can see sparks coming out, and you can see Athansu has now turned his ERS off, I think. Will he go in the pits? I think his wing might be damaged yet, so he won't set the lap. What about Huss? On his way through the tunnel. About to slam on the brakes. And that was taken neatly. Could be a quick time. He's gone purple through the second sector according to the map. Takes a good chunk of that curb and manages to keep his momentum going. Gets a little clip on the wall, but it's fine. Huss comes down. Wouldn't be surprised if this ends at pole. It is 11-2. Welcome back, Huss. Had a cracking start in Bahrain to the season and sort of dipped ever since really. But has announced himself at Monaco, and pole is worth £1 million here. If you get pole, makes you hard to beat. As looks like Bassett's now going to start a second flying lap on his way down to turn 1. Okay, carries enough speed through there. On his way up the hill, about to turn left and clips the apex just at the right time. Opens up the corner for him to shift it back right. And on his way down to the hairpin, gets some nice rotation through there. It's quite a low traction zone that, so you've got to be careful as you exit that corner, because you'll end up doing a Carlos Sainz and, or was it Perez? It was Perez, wasn't it? Oh no, it was Sainz and then Perez hit him. I wonder if he's just running out of ERS or whether he's backed out the lap, but looks like a pretty decent lap to here. So let's see if he carries on. He does pull in the pits, so he either gave up on that or just didn't need to. Rika's improved to 11.9. Let's just quickly run through the order. We've got Huss, we're on board with him for that 11.2. Not Rishi's improved, he's up to 11.3. Nicky Lauda in third, we was on board with him for the 11.4. Alex with an 11.6, Bassett with an 11.6, Marshmallow with an 11.6, and TGL with an 11.8, Rico 11.9, and we've got a new pole sitter, Maga 11.1. 7 minutes for everyone to overturn that. And Kazingle just straight away, 11.1. So well done to Kazingle. And Nicky Lauda then overtakes it with an 11 flat. Well, they're trading blows here. And that's all of those people are fighting for the title, so they know how important this is going to be. I wonder if they've been grafting it through the week. That's Marshmallow now, does a 10.6. Wow, what a lap that is. Nice from Marshmallow. And I don't think I've seen him in the title fight too much, to be fair, so we'll see what he can produce. But this is going to be an 11.7, which is enough for 10th. Felix in 11th. Let's watch his... Oh, who is that? It's a Williams, but Felix manages to cut his way underneath it. It must be Sheba. So Felix's ERS light is flashing, but it might just be because it's running low, that's all. He rounds the final couple of corners. Is he going to pull in the pit? Yes, he is. Okay. Charlie, haven't seen a lap from him. He is on his way into the pit, so he's 11.9. Got man like Donkey with a 12.4. Wardy with a 12.7. Is he out on track? I think he is. And not pulling into the pit. So he's going to come down and set a time, I think. DRS wide open. Does he improve? Or is he starting a lap now? Check the DRS. No, he's starting a lap now. And that's looked neat and tidy so far, and carrying plenty of momentum around these corners. Oh, just a little clip of the barrier there. It's looking really good up to this point. Little clip of the barrier, but I don't think it's cost him too much. Can he get down to the line? Is he going to improve on his time? We're about to see. It's going to be in the 111s, 111.8. So it puts him up to 12th. So not a bad run from Wardy. I think he'll want to go a little bit quicker than that. But yeah, Marshmallow looks on a different planet with that lap so far. We've got... is Bassett on a lap? He might well be. So he's just going to come through the tunnel. Let's stick on board with him. Let's see if he can improve. As the track will now be starting to rubber in a little bit. Nice and aggressive through there, carries tons of speed through there, keeps the car pointing in a straight line. It's very quick so far. Oh, you can just see, you've got to be careful out there, and he clips the wall. It's going to have cost him quite a bit of time. I'll tell you what, that could have been right up there if I hadn't made that mistake there. I think that would have cost him 2 or 3 tenths. So it's good enough for 5th for now. Anyone else back out? I think Kazingle might be coming round to start a lap, so let's see if he can. He might even be on it, you know. No, he's going to start it now because he hasn't used his ERS. So yeah, here we go. Starts to deploy. So Kazingle, probably his final run, and going for that pole position. I think he would have been a little bit disappointed last time out in Imola. Whoa, he just lost the rear end there. Maybe if he hasn't done any wing damage, he could turn his ERS off and have another go. So he will want to save his tyres. What's Maga up to? He is invalidating, but probably coming around to start the lap now. His ERS is on. And away he goes. So he needs to improve by 5/10. Try and keep an eye on that in the top corner. Again, carries plenty of speed around turn 1. It's been some really impressive laps from these guys so far. You've just got to be so patient on the throttle around there, and he feeds the car in so nicely there. As Charlie puts in an 11.1, puts him up to 4th. Good lap from him. You could just see Maggot having a little stab at the throttle. I think that's what was causing him to wash out wide a little bit, really. But that's neat and tidy. You can see him flicking up gears early just to prevent the wheel spin. So Kalitsos and Evan, as Maggot just invalidates there. Try to be cheeky and take too much of the corner. So let's look at Alex then. He's on his way up the hill. So Kalitsos, if he can outperform his current time, he will jump above Shiba. Shiba cannot fit another time, and Athanshu actually is also gone. So he cannot improve on his time, and Evan is in the pit for some reason. Well, he's not going to get out and round now, I don't think, so he's obviously not going to set a time, as Alex seems to have pulled out of his lap. So Rishi, not seen him yet today, taking a lot of curb there. He's recharging his air, so I wonder if he had a bit of a nightmare and he's about to have one more run at it. Yeah, turns his airs off, so let's have a look. And has there been an accident? Because there's 2 people out here, Huss and Kalitsos. Rishi getting a little bit of oversteer there, but corrects it nicely. Oh, it just runs out a little bit wide, and there's a bit of a glitched tyre there. I wonder if that's where one of the other 2 went off. So, and again, you can just see a little bit of a snap from the rear of the car as Marshmallow improves again with a 10.6.17. Oh, and Rishi again just getting quite a lot of snap. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's pulled out of this lap. Let's just see if his ERS cut has gone off again. No, he's still going for it. Maybe he thinks he can still improve on his time. Such a tough track this, let alone when you actually go racing on it. The first corner is going to be a nightmare, I assume, as there's some more yellow flags down near the hairpin. But Rishi is coming round. He is going to complete the lap. Let's see how he's done. Again, just getting a bit of a snap from the rear of the car. And it's an 11.3 and he remains in 10th. Who else have we got? Rika wants to try and improve. Any of these top guys still out on a lap? No, I don't think Maggot is going to do it. What about Nicky Lauda? He's invalid, so he's not going to improve. I think unless Bassett or TGL has got something in the bag here, this could be your order. I don't think anyone's going to dislodge Athanshu, but is that... No, it's just the speakers. It looked like a car had crashed. As the McLaren moves out the way. And Maggot is not really improving. If he's got a lot of time in this last couple of corners, which he looked pretty solid round earlier, so can't imagine he's going to gain too much out of this. TJL Stewart's in the pit, so he won't improve. I don't think Rishi is going to improve, but Bassett does improve, so he had a bit of time in that last sector, puts him up to 4th. So the AlphaTauri boys having a good day, 4th and 5th. Kazinga will be very happy with 3rd. Nicky Lauda in 2nd. Marshmallow will be delighted. And Nicky Lauda actually did get into the 10s. So did push Marshmallow, but still 2 tenths down. So Marshmallow surely will fancy his chances today. We've then got Maggot in 6th, Alex in 7th, Huss in 8th, Stewart in 9th, Rishi in 10th, Athanshu 11, Rika 12, Wardy in 13th, Felix 14, Man Like Donkey in 15th, Sheba 16th, Kalitsos in 17th, and then Evan didn't put a lap in. Wonder if something's happened. Could well have a quali ban, not sure. But that is Monaco qualifying complete, and quite a few of them managed to survive. So let's see what happens into turn 1. So the guys are just doing final tweaks to their setup, which you can only do limited changes with parc fermé on. Let's have a quick look at the standings and see what happened after Imola last week. And I'll give you a bit of an update as to where we are at in Division 3. As I'm looking forward to turn 1 and seeing what goes down. Okay, so your winner last time out, Bassett, he's right up there in 4th. Niki Lauda came 5th last week. He is in 2nd. Huge in Monaco that. Rika with a good couple of results, 2 podiums in the last 2 races, one of them being a win. He's up into 3rd. Maggot in 4th. So Rika's got some big work to do. Maggot's there or thereabouts. Guna, who's a reserve in this league, don't think he's here tonight. Not Rishi's here. He's in 6th in the championship. Wardy's in 7th. And where is he? 12th currently. TGL Stewart, who's in 8th in the championship. He's in 8th on the grid. Then we've got Felix. Felix into the top 10 in the championship. He's 9th. And today we'll start down in 14th. I think the weather conditions helped him last week. Alex, he's in 7th, but really, based on his qualifying form this year, he could be in the top 3 drivers, but just the races have caused him a lot of trouble. And this one is not set to be any easier, so we'll see how he gets on. Just see if there's anything about Evan in the chat, try and find out why he didn't settle up. Can't see anything. Maybe he just chose to keep all his tyres. Okay, here we go. The lights are coming on. Let me jump on board and look back because the camera angle's terrible. Marshmallow's away, but Niki Lauda's got a better start. And they're going to have a fight into turn 1, I think. But Marshmallow's going to get the inside line. They look like there's some debris there, but Niki Lauda's still side by side. Marshmallow gets a bit of a snap, but they're okay. They get through, and everyone down the back of the field looks like pretty safe as well. Afansu and Felix look like they're fighting, and Felix has made a place up as Kazingal just gets a bit sideways through turn 4 or 5, I think it is, but he manages to hold on to the car and everyone's through safely. So good start from Division 3 and a good view of the cars filtering down. You've just got to be careful into that section because you can come down there a bit hot, and there is some yellow flags a bit further down the pack. Can we see it? There is some debris on the track. Can't see who it's from. I have no idea, but I tell you what, that is a pretty clean start from this division, so well done everyone. Marshmallow pulling a gap out already, a second ahead. Niki Lauda trying to keep up with him, can't, but has ditched Kazingal by a second as well, who we saw had a bit of a hairy moment just at the top of the hill. But again, he's now created a second gap to Bassett, and Maggot's probably, as Bassett has to go in, so he's obviously had some damage. Maggot takes over. Charlie jumps up. You can see pretty much everyone's going to jump up there because everyone's got through pretty safely. There is a huge gap back where our Fansu is actually. That seems to be where the field have got a little bit muddled, but you can see we've got Bassett in the pits, Kalitsos, Sheba, Felix in the pits, Evans in the pits, Frahus is in the pits. So there obviously was some contact, nothing major, as Niki Lauda is now starting to pull this gap back down to just under a second. And I think they're starting to ditch Kazingal a little bit, but Kazingal has opened up a huge gap where Bassett went into the pits. 2.5 seconds. So, barring anything silly, You would like to think that could be your podium for the day, but we know Maga is not just going to lay down and accept it, and you can see he's already starting to eat into that lead. It'd be interesting to see if Charlie can keep up with the pace, because he's not been in the championship fight this season, but he's definitely got loads of potential, and you can see he's already improving on Maggot. And we'll see if he can make anything. So let's jump on board with Alex. He seems to be the start of a little train going on. He's 2 seconds back from Charlie. He's got Rika for company, who's made up a couple of places. And in fact, let's have a look at the places gained. Not too much movement, not in comparison to some races we've seen. So Maggot's up 2. One of those will be because Bassett had to pit. Charlie is where he started. Alex is up in position. Rika up 4, who's the big gainer of the day. Wardy at 2, Man Like Donkey at 3, and the rest is just where pit stops have happened. So to make up 4 places here at Monaco is huge, and I don't know whether that was a good start off the line or whether he did something further down into the corners. But Rika is right on the tail of Alex, but it's going to be very hard to overtake anyone here. So we'll see if they can do it. As Rika just pushed his nose in there, but Alex covers it off. Let's check tyres. Stuart goes on the hards, and Rishi, Wardy and Afansu behind him also go on the hards. That must mean that those guys at the back that pitted started on the hards and flipped to mediums, other than Klitsos, who's currently on the hards, must have changed from the mediums. So Alex just clearing out a little bit of a gap to Rika. The Man Like Donkey comes in. Must have been some contact. And I think today is a day where we can sort of jump on board with a few different cars and just hope we can catch some of the action, because you just have to be in the right place at the right time to see a move happen. And TGL Stewart won't be too disappointed with where he's placed, as Huss puts in the fastest lap of the race from 13th place. And on fresh medium tyres, probably got some fresh air back there. He has by about 8 seconds. Yeah, you just got to hope you're in the right place at the right time for the moves that happen. There's probably not going to be too many of them. It's more of a strategic battle. And Stuart won't be too disappointed with being in 8th. I think he'll sort of hope for a safety car and try and take advantage, as we've got some yellow flags. I can't see where that is. It's not showing up on the track, so I have no idea, but everyone seems to be moving absolutely fine. So just to go back and check in at the top, we've still got Marshmallow, who's just opened that gap back out to about a second. Kazingle is a second back from him, so they're spaced out pretty evenly. Maggot has dropped off a little bit. He's 3 seconds back now, so what if he made a little mistake? Charlie's 2 seconds back from him, and we have that's Felix. No wing and in the pits, so he's going to have to hurry up and get out, because he could get lapped here. And once you're lapped, especially around Monaco, there's no coming back from that. Where are they now? They're just coming at the end of the tunnel, so I think he's going to beat them quite comfortably, to be fair, but can't afford any more mistakes now. So Alex still at the front of this train. Nicky Lauda looks a little bit closer to Marshmallow. I think Sector 3 seems to be where he's pulling it back, and then Marshmallow Sector 1 and 2 opens the gap back up a little bit. So I don't know if there's too much to get excited about at this stage, but we'll jump on board with him in case he can force a mistake out of Marshmallow. And I think that's the key around here, is just to try and put pressure on the person in front of you and just hope he blinks first. You can see just that dip in the hill. Marshmallow attacked it, Nicky Lauda went round it. Don't think there's not necessarily a wrong way of doing it, but Marshmallow's certainly taking the riskier approach. Hasn't really shrugged Nicky Lauda off so far though. And I think Kazingle's starting to pull back in as well. But it seems to be just out of that tunnel section. You can see like 4 tenths open back up there. So I just wonder if Marshmallow is getting that little bit right. And we're 6 laps in to the 39. We're about to start lap 7 as they go round towards the line now. And again, not too much really to show you. It's going to be a game of chess today. It's going to be about making the right moves at the right time. Probably a bit of luck involved. Rika's still ahead of Stuart and Rishi. These are the hard runners. Wardy's made his way up to 10th because of those pit stops, but in a very good position to pick up some points today, or at least a point. Bassett has closed the gap. He was 14 seconds back when I looked a couple of laps ago, so he's getting on with it. And Huss is 7 seconds back from that, which again I think he's taken a second out of Bassett, so they're moving quite quickly, these guys, in fresh air. And Fansu then is 12 seconds back from that. And then Kalitsos, Man Like Donkey, Evan, Shiba, and then Felix we saw getting his wing changed. Mix up the field. So let's go back to Nicky Lauda, because I don't want to miss anything at the front. And he looks probably the closest he's been all race. He's within 2 tenths. And we're about to see the DRS trainer. You can see Felix is just in front of them as well. So if Nicky Lauda gets a good run here, we might just see a move. But it's so hard, you just don't seem to be able to get close enough. And I think Marshmallow looks like he's got a decent bit of straight line speed. He's probably got a bit of DRS that he can chuck down to use as a defensive weapon. And again, you can just see that, I mean, down there you could make a lunge. It's risky though. Kalitsos picks up a 3-second time penalty, probably cutting the chicane. I think that's where he is right now, so that's really the only track limits you can get, other than maybe just in front of the marina. Yeah, just here, and again I think that's fine from Nicky Lauda. You're allowed to cut it slightly or you just won't make it round. And there's some yellow flags in this section, and that is Felix, I think. So Felix has gone from the race. Will it cause a safety car? Oh, as Nicky Lauda hits the wall. Now, I don't think safety cars come out too often at Monaco, which is, you're going to say, what the hell? Yes, it's a bit strange, but I think if you had safety cars on or coming out too often, you'd probably have 39 laps behind a safety car. So I think the game tries to reduce the amount of safety cars that comes out. So I don't think we'll see one from Felix. The car's been moved. I think it was away from the racing line, and that's why the stewards on the day are saying continue racing. So we've lost our first car. He's done it to himself. He's put himself in a wall. He was struggling. He'd already had a wing replaced. So not Felix's best day. But Nicky Lauda still hanging around Marshmallow, waiting for that mistake. Kazingal is in the background, and he's hanging on to this group. Even though his quali time was a little bit slower, he's certainly picked up some pace in the race, and he's now within 8 tenths of Nicky Lauda. So see if he wants to make any sort of a lunge into getting the overtake done. But just sector 3 losing a little bit of time. So maybe just needs to be a little bit more aggressive through those chicanes. But I'll tell you what, I'd snap your hand off for a podium at the start of the race for sure. Rika pits, and I think he will come in for the hard tyres and he will just try and stay out for the rest of the race and hope for a safety car. That's probably not a bad idea from Rika. Go in. He's got 29 laps. I'm assuming he's gone on to hards, has he? He has. So it would not be strange to see him go the length of the race now. So if a safety car comes out, he is going to be in a great position. He's just going to have to make sure that he pushes hard, so that when people do pit, he's up there and he's able to snatch those places away. So safety car will work in Rika's favour. Back up to the front, we've got Nicky Lauda still 8 tenths away from Marshmallow, and not really looking like he can make an overtake anywhere. Kazingle's following them, still a second back. Maggott is dropping off the pace of these leaders. He's 4 seconds back, and Charlie has sort of been kept at arm's length from Maggott as well. You've then got Alex, who was the start of a train, but he's managed to detach himself, and he's now a little bit up the road. He must have his head down. No mistakes from Alex today, and sure he would be happy with a 6th place. TGL Stewart is going to come in and pit. I wonder why. Let's stick with him and see if he changes a wing, because you would not come in for mediums at this point. Nah, it is a wing change. So Rishi goes through, Wardy goes through. I think Bassett is going to find his way through. Yep. And the 2 Mercedes, I think, will also go into the. Will also make it through. This is going to be tight, actually. Let's get on with Huss. He's going to meet him down at the corner, I think. Oh no, he's not. He's not quite come out the pitch yet. So no, Huss is quite comfortably through. So disappointing for Stewart. He's going to have to pit again. I don't think those medium tyres are going to get all the way to the end. Is there any other close racing out here? Rishi. Let's have a look at Man Like Donkey. Looks quite close to Kalitsos. Can he make an overtake down into the first straight? Into the first quarter, sorry. He can't, and he spins, and we're with the right person at the right time, and oh, where you're going to go, it's going to cause carnage. Oh dear, there's not a huge amount he can do. He's going to have to hurry up though, because is that that's a reset to track. I think it's, as silly as it sounds, I think it's probably the right thing to do, and we do have a safety car. Let's get on. I'm going to get on with Rika. How is this going to affect Rika? I think he could end up, unless Bassett stays out. Oh, and the front 3 cars have gone through, so they might just survive the cut here. And not sure this is going to work in Rika's favour in the end. It will do if a couple of these cars get out of the way. He's definitely gained a couple of places from it, for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see whether those front runners decide to come in. So I do think this is a great move from Rika. He came in early. And just for you viewers, you're not meant to reset to track. As Man Like Donkey's now been done for corner cutting. You're not allowed to reset to track in the league. And I think he was probably a bit concerned about all the other cars that were just about to make their way down. And he couldn't really turn the car around, so whilst you would sit there and say it is a sensible decision to try and get out of the way, it's also not proper racing by doing it. So it'd be interesting to see if the stewards say anything about it, as the safety car has made its way all the way down. Like, it's gone probably half the lap. But anyway, the front runners are now in the pits. I think Kazingle's in there. Yeah, they are. So Kazingle apparently in the lead of the race, but that would just be because his pit box is further down. Marshmallow, did he stay out? Did he? Yeah, what's going on here? Wardy stayed out to pick up a huge chunk of positions. Charlie and Alex are up there, and oh, look what's happened. Look, Kazingle. Something's happened here. I wonder if they had wing damage and they've changed their wing. But they were going so quick. I'm not sure what's happened there, but so Marshmallow, did he stop? I don't know what's going on. He did stop. So how has he got out in the lead of the race and Kazingle comes out in 5th? It must have been so tight. Just a shame we weren't there to see it. But Nicky Lauder in 8th, but he must have had a wing change. Must have. So Rika has gained out of pitting early. I did think that was a good call. Whoa, as Marshmallow just holds on. If he'd lost that there, he would have lost the lead of the race. We've got, is that Man Like Donkey, or is that Sheba? A Sheba in front of the safety car, and he cannot unlap himself. Well, he's not lapped, sorry, but he cannot overtake the safety car. He won't be able to go and join the back of the pack. And he will have to move out of the way for blue. as he goes round the safety car, and Kazingo's DNF'd. What's happened? And there you go, Shiba gets disqualified for overtaking the safety car. And that is Kazingo's car! Ooh, is that a glitch, or did Bassett just punch that out the way? I have no idea. I have no idea. But so Shiba we've lost because he decided to overtake the safety car. Well, Kazingo managed to, I don't know if he hurt himself or what. I'm just going to see if I can get hold of him and see if I can find out what happened to him. So not sure what happened, but Kazingo was suggesting that something happened with Shiba, but we were on board with Marshmallow watching Shiba overtake the safety car, so I don't know if there was a bit of a glitch in the game, but I mean it's cost Kazingo his race. It'd be interesting to see what his point of view on that was. But anyway, the race will go on, and you can see that there's a couple of cars coming into the pits to make a quick change before the race gets underway again. We're 15 laps into the 39, so not quite half race distance. Marshmallow, I think most people have pitted. Wardy hasn't, so he just wanted to gain track position, but surely will give it all back by not pitting. I'm not sure how he's gonna save his race, really. I get why he wanted to stay out. I mean, he could hope for an absolute pile-up behind him, which gives him an opportunity to pit and get new tyres. So, but you never know what will happen in Monaco. So we'll only know if it's the right call when we get to lap 39. And the safety car is coming in this lap. The field has caught up. The Ferraris are at the back. Man like Donkey somewhere in the middle of the pack. So he might cause some pain for people. Where is he? He's just sat Alex in front of him. So has he got Rika behind him? Yeah, I think that is right. So he is here. He's technically in 6th, but a lap down. 4th, sorry, but a lap down. So Marshmallow will get us underway any second now. And here he goes. And Wardy is right on his tail. And there's a little bit of a gap to Charlie, but not too much. As Rishi pits, no idea why, but everyone again seems to be getting away pretty comfortably as Stewart taps the wall as we get on board with him. We've got some yellow flags. I think that's Nicky Lauder in front of him. Has Man Like Donkey made his way out the way? Let's have a look. He's trying to. Just seems to be slowing people down right now. I think that's Stewart. Is that Stewart? Yeah, it is Stewart. So Stewart's made his way past Rika. What's Bassett? Is he dropped or no? Or is it Nicky Lauder? I can't see. But Man Like Donkey has done well there to get out of the way. But he's on the racing line now. It's so hard around here. I don't think you can blame him. But let's stop recording it for his sake. It's so hard. By the time you've got round 1 and. Has something been caused back here? Yeah, there's wing damage, so I'm assuming he's caught some people out because they're not expecting a slow car, but Again, I'm not sure what else he was meant to do. He has to try his best to get out of the way as Charlie's made some inroads into Wardy. 4/10 back. Maggott's in the pit to get the wing. He must have been the one without the wing. And we did say that anything can happen around Monaco. And Wardy being in second place is really helping Marshmallow because he can just get bombing off down the road. And what that does mean is if he can open up a substantial lead, he will have a free pit stop and should just be in control of this race. But anyway, we're with Charlie, and Kazingle's just sent me a video of what's happened, so just gonna have a look at it and see what happened, and I'll give you a bit of an update. A very strange one. Looks like he gets pushed by Shiba. So Charlie's still a little bit frustrated here, trying to find a way past Wardy, who hasn't pitted. But Wardy is just going to be content. He's just going to sit there for as long as he can, and if he gets some carnage happening behind him, then good for him. But TJL Stewart is on the attack through the tunnel. Alex is not going to give him the room to get through him, and you can see he's just putting some pressure on him, so he's going to try and get a good launch. It's not going to happen, as Charlie did get through on Wardy. We left at the wrong time. Where did that happen? That must have been out of the chicane. So great move from Charlie. I wish we'd stayed on board with it. Really sorry, guys. It's hard to know where the next attack is going to come from, but I think Stewart looks the most likely right now, and I think he will have to pit again on those medium tyres, but we'll see, as he's already pulled alongside. So Alex must have had a really bad exit out of the final turn, and Stewart gets it done. So we are starting to see some overtakes now from some of these faster drivers a little bit further down the field. We've got Rika, who is now going to try and hunt down Alex, but we know Rika's going to want to go to the end, so he's not going to, I assume he's not going to push too hard, as you can see that Stewart has burnt all his ERS, but again, it doesn't matter because you can just park your car around here. And it's going to be tough for people to overtake. We've done 19 laps. We've seen one overtake, but we've certainly seen two that have happened in the race so far. And it's just a battle to stay alive around here. And if you stay alive, you're going to get points, more than likely. As Nicky Lauda was doing really well at the start of this race, but I think the wing change under the safety cars dropped him quite a few positions, so as he taps the wall, and that is a wing gone. I think that is a wing gone, so his race is going from good to not good to really bad. He's going to come out probably somewhere between the Ferraris. Unfortunate for him, but we jump on with Bassett now, who's chasing down Rika. And just need to keep an eye on that gap, Charlie and Marshmallow, because I think Charlie is bringing it in, but Marshmallow could well just be coasting the car around with a 5-second lead. Wardy has opened up a gap to Stewart, 2.5 seconds. Did see Stewart had burnt all his ERS to try and get round Alex. So TGL might just have to really start to think about saving some of his ERS and going on the attack a little bit later in the race. And then Alex is in this pack that we're watching now, 6/10 back. Then it's Rika and Bassett really starting to put some pressure on Rika now. You can see he just filters the car through the corners really nicely. He's got such good balance, Keeps the car pointing in the right direction, knows when to get the throttle down. And the way they go down the straight, and again, it's just not enough. Like, Rico can get on the gas earlier because he's through the corner before, and we've just got no chance of catching. There's Stewart now putting some pressure on Wardy. So that 2-second gap, sorry, was Wardy to Charlie, and TGL is putting some pressure on Wardy. But again, Wardy will just want to hang around until the point something happens behind him and he can go and pit. And he's hit the wall. I wonder if the grip levels are just starting to go off a bit, and he's lost that end plate, which is causing him trouble, and Stewart's through. Alex is now trying to make a move, but had to sort of back out because there's a bit of a wobble there. Rika's now going to be putting some pressure on Alex. Let's watch him as they come down the hill, as Alex looks to make a lunge down on Wardy, gets it done, and then Rika's had to hit Wardy because they've all just had to stop. Bassett's queuing up behind. Rika's now going to make the move. He's lost his end plate, so you can just see he's struggling. So Bassett's now having a go, and Bassett, oh, I was on the wrong Merc, that's right. I thought Bassett had got through, but let's see, is Rika going to pit? We then got Huss that's trying to put pressure on. You can see Rika is just struggling to turn the car, but he's not going to come in, and I think that's sensible. I think if you can stay out there, that would ruin Rika's race if he came in. But that car is going to be, it's going to feel like it's turning like a tank. And Bassett, we know, who is very neat and tidy, is probably going to want to take advantage of it, so he will stick about. I'm sure he will have seen the contact, I'm sure he would have seen the piece of wing come off Rika's car, so he's just got to be patient and wait for the right time. And Nicky Lauda puts in the fastest lap from down in 12th, and seemingly has got past Maggot. Whether he was in the pit, I'm not sure, but this is definitely the battle to watch right now. Rika with no end plate on his wing, Bassett on the attack, and Huss waiting in the wings just behind. So Wardy has now pitted, comes out in 14th. He took a punt, and unfortunately didn't pay off for him. I think he was already on the hard tyres, so we'll have to go on to mediums. 17 laps should be okay for them. Might be a little bit low on grip by the end. But the front sort of 4 or 5 are now spaced out quite well. Marshmallow has extended his lead to 6 seconds. Charlie then is 4 seconds away from Stewart. We'll see if that gap starts to close in as Stewart's now released into some free air. Alex managed to get through, and he's 2 seconds back from Stewart, and Bassett is now clawing all over the back of Rika and is making an attack. Huss is waiting for a mistake from either of these two. So make their way around the hairpin. You can see Bassett just tries to carry a little bit more speed. I mean, this is the point where he wants to get good launch, because if he can launch on Rika down here, it's probably the longest straight you're going to get with an opportunity to attack at the end, but it's just not going to be close enough. And Rika's doing a great job of fending these two off, and it's just not an easy track to overtake at. We've got Rishi, who's on the back of Evan, and he is trying to make an attack down into the chicane, but it's just so hard to stop. And we've got a Red Bull that's gone straight on. Was that Nicky Lauda? It was. 5-second penalty for corner cutting. I mean, he had to avoid, and he does let people through. Yeah, so, okay, he might get that penalty taken away then, because he was just trying to avoid the contact. Let's get back to Bassett. As Rishi is now, I assume, in the pits. No, he spun it out the last corner, and Bassett is all over the gearbox of Rika, and he's trying to create some angles to get some better traction out of the corners to see if he can force Rika to make a mistake, but it's just not happening. We've got a Williams now around at the top of the hill, but he's back underway. So it's Marshmallow. He's still extending that gap. He's now 7 seconds clear. TGL Stewart's 5 seconds back of Charlie. Alex a second back of Stewart. So Alex looks like he's starting to reel Stewart back in a little bit. Wonder if Stewart made a bit of a mistake somewhere, or those medium tyres might just be dropping off a little bit. And then we've got Rika, who is the car we can see in front of Bassett here. And Bassett chucks a move at the inside. He gets a penalty for it. I think he was just trying to catch Rika off guard. Couldn't make it happen. And just got to be patient, Bassett. It will come. It will come. Don't get frustrated. Just keep your head in the game. But that 3-second penalty is going to be costly now with Huss just purring behind him. And Arthanshu looking to join the attack as Bassett tries to attack him up the hill. Can't get it done. Just got to be patient, Bassett. Got to be patient. And you can see he's just trying to force it. And you keep putting pressure on. You don't have to try and force it. Just put some pressure on. He will make a mistake eventually. And just be there to take advantage of that. But I suppose that's why he's just trying to get a little bit more aggressive, because Rika up to this point hasn't showed any signs of cracking, as we've got another Ferrari in trouble at the top of the hill. And over that sort of hump in the middle of the road, I think he's lost it, but again he's back underway. So we're going to stick with Bassett probably for quite a while to see if he can force something, can make something happen, and just getting the car a bit sideways. So we've seen so far today that Bassett has been so neat and tidy around here, but he's getting frustrated behind Rika and he wants to make something happen, and Rika just knows where to deploy the ERS to keep him at arm's length. But I don't know if he knows that Rika's got a broken front wing. If he did know, then he should be a bit more patient, because that mistake will come. Alex has now found the back of Stewart, so Alex is finding some pace. So I think those medium tyres for Stewart are starting to drop off a little bit. So he's not really got enough of a gap to sort of clear some of these guys and get back out. He might be able to get out in front of Nicky Lauda, but he's just going to have to try and stick that out and hope something happens in his favour. Bassett looks quite close this time. I don't know if it's going to be close enough to make a lunge. It's not going to be. We've already said Rishi tried to make a move in here, and Bassett has to slam his foot on the brakes, and I assume that Huss had to try and take some avoiding action. That gets him a 3-second time penalty. So these guys behind just getting a little impatient to get around Riki. You can see he's struggling through some of these corners, which is probably why Bassett is feeling frustrated, because he knows he's quicker. You can see that Stewart is really starting to struggle on those tyres, because that gap to Charlie is just getting further and further away. And you can see that looks like Marshmallow is coming round to the final set of corners now. Charlie's making his way into sector 3, and then Stewart is making his way towards sector 3 as we speak now, and then you've got this group just behind. So yeah, big gaps here. And I don't know if Marshmallow made a mistake, because he's let a Haas back through. But he'll get blue flags again, and we'll have to let the leader go. And Bassett does give Rika a tap. Oh, and it almost leads to the overtake, but you just got to be careful doing that. He doesn't want to do damage to himself. Certainly doesn't want to hurt Rika's race. But it must be ever so frustrating sitting here behind Rika, feeling quite slow, but Rika knows this track is impossible to overtake at, and he's a wise driver, tends to get his strategy right, or tends to go long on his strategy anyway, and that's really going to frustrate Bassett. There's just nothing he's going to be able to do about it. And see if Alex is making any progress. He's 3/10 back on Stewart on the medium tyres, and you would assume that they're starting to fall off, because again that gap has opened up by 2 seconds since we last looked. And Alex is on the hard tyres, which are just going to last that a little bit longer. as Stewart does ride the wall a little bit there. Stewart, I believe, will have to pit again. Doesn't have to if the tyres can last, but I mean they look like they're in the bin based on the lap times he's doing. And Bassett is very, very close, and you just tend to be around these final couple of corners. Needs a good run out of here, but the traction is so low there. You've got to be so careful. Just gives the wall a bit of a tap, but he's okay. And Huss seems to have dropped back 2 seconds back now, as Bassett is right on the gearbox of Rika, and he's going to try and force it around the outside. Wisely backs out of that, I think, because Rika was about to cut his nose off. And would have been horrible for both of them, but he's trying to get creative. As you can see, Alex and Stewart just out in the distance. And you can see that Bassett just seems to be taking this last sector so much better, and I think that's because the end plate of Rika's missing. His downforce is just a little bit all over the place, really. And this must be so frustrating for Bassett. He just can't get through. As Stewart now does pit, I think he knew his tyres were going off. So it'd be interesting to see where Stewart ends up coming out. He's having a new wing fitted, so that is no good. That'll be no good for him. So that releases Alex 13 seconds back from Charlie. So still on board with Bassett and Rika. Rika's not budging. Bassett's getting more and more frustrated. Huss is on his way back. The Wardy's 3/10 back of Evan, Wardy is just trying to pick up that last championship point. Just keep an eye on their times and see if we can jump on board with him for a bit, see if he can make any progress. And in fact, we'll do that because Wardy is within 0.2 of a second, and you can just see having to slow down that little bit. Seems to be a lot more confident maybe than Evan. Let's see if he can get him down the straight. No, too far back. Such a hard track to overtake on.